Walk round compound, see some tigers. Yeah. Ooh. Look at these sleepy kitties. Look at these sleepy babies. Oh, hello. Arch, Arch. How you doing, bud? How you doing, bud? What do you know? This is nothing much. Just hanging out. Ooh. Got his pool. We got pools going into enclosures. Pools. That's exciting. Summertime news. Tess. Tess, Tess. Tess. Tess, come over here. You don't want to hang out with stinky old Becky? What is up with that? She's not coming over. What did you say to her? Good, yep. People. So, Becky, what's been on the agenda for today? What have you been doing?
We butchered 2 cows.
Oh, cool. There's another horse in the corral, by the way.
Went shopping.
Went shopping? Oh, that's cool. Did you have to pick up like ground turkey and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Good chat. Good chat. Hi, Ross. How are you? How are you? Sun's starting to go down a little bit more, so the angle is getting better for more shade opportunities and for decreased temperatures. Becky, geez, you're in my way. Gosh, trying to webcast here. Oh, speaking of which, hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek. Again, welcome to another super duper fantastic. Oh my gosh. It's here, Tuesday. Oh, walk around the compound webcast. Oh, molasses. We're gonna have a pip of a time. Don't have to be too much laid out as far as an agenda is concerned, but from what I hear, or from what I read, wrong senses. There's one over here and one is over here. Sometimes people say that the webcasts, that I don't have an agenda. I don't have any standard topics that I want to touch upon. Sometimes those tend to be the best ones. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Lay? Lay. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Hallelujah. Don't you be getting crinkle nose at me. Don't you be getting your crinkle nose at me. Let's see if we can go in here. No, do the thing. Ah, just when I think to like stick the camera in the edge of the enclosure. Just when I have a good idea, you decide to just go and ruin it. You decide to ruin it. Good job, Lay. Okay, see if we can do it again. Let's see if we can capture the magic again. And she's walking out of frame. Ah! Success! Oh, stop. Oh, yep. What's up, man?
Not much.
What are you doing?
Going to check room and play water.
Fun! Taking a roundabout kind of way, don't you think? I'll get all kind of sidetracked. Oh well. Oh, it was a person on Twitter. Hi. Oh, so okay, it's like over here. So I come over here, come over there. Yeah. I see how it is. So if I'm on that side, no. This side, good. This side is the side with the sun. So maybe you associate people who are on this side with the sun. It's just a theory. It's a dumb one, admittedly. We got a lot of rain today, too. Just a crap ton of rain. What exactly constitutes a crap ton, Derek? Is that empirical measurements or is that metric? Melita, can you answer the question? Crap ton? How much exactly is a crap ton? I mean, technically speaking, a crap ton would just be 2,000 pounds of feces. You'd think. So how much a crap ton would be. That is how much a crap ton would be. Sid. Good chat. All right. Okay. Clean day is tomorrow. Clean day is tomorrow morning. And a lot of kitty cats are still kind of, yeah, a lot of, kitty cats, they're eating some proteins. And they're telling us, in no uncertain terms, please come again later. To which we will respect those wishes. We will come again later. We will come in the morning. We have to wake up, we gotta wake up early. We've got to wake up at first light. Well, not wake up at first light. We have to be ready and out here working at first light. Because it gets warm. And the cats don't want to move in the afternoon, so we gotta wake up really early so that they'll feel prompted to lock up. Do all that stuff. Oh gosh, I was talking about the Twitter user. Oh man, I'm gonna screw this up. This guy's name. Oh boy. Ukamuka Hudai. You need. Okay. The thing about internet names. The thing about internet usernames and handles. Okay, it's like something. It literally is like Ukamuka Lu Hudai or something. I can't remember what it was. Ukamuka Luka Wuka Puka Choppers. The thing about like internet usernames is that you gotta make stuff that's like unless of course you're just trying to be ironic, then I totally get it. Whoa! That was a head of drills. It was a head of bits and drills. But I actually, for a long time, when I first started tweeting in 2010, I thought like, what should my thing be? And I sat down with a pencil and a piece of paper, or maybe it was a pen. Who knows? Ooh, the history, the intrigue. And I was like writing down different names, like for things, Tiger Derek, Tiger this guy, Tiger Odyssey, Tiger Lions and Tigers and Dereks, oh my. Stuff like that. It's not an actual. Don't think like like someday there's gonna be like an info page like a Wikipedia is like one of his original names was Lions and Tigers and Dereks. Oh my! But he quickly decided that BigCatDerek would be a little bit more palatable. No. That was never in the running. But I came up with something that was gonna be easy to remember. And honestly, here's the thing, and I feel bad because that person, they didn't do a bad job, and I'm kind of picking on them. I'm kind of picking on them for no reason. Because it really wasn't that. I literally looked up their tweet like right before I started to hit record. But there's like Ukamuka Luka Haidai. Adai? Haidu. Hey! Snuffles. Snoofles. Hi. Hi. Hi, Mr. Slade. Hi, Mr. Slade. How are you doing? How are you? Where's your brother? There he is. He always likes to be on that pillbox. I call it a pillbox, even though it's not a pillbox. It's a. You can tell I play video games based in World War II. Things. often. Excuse me, mister. Oh my gosh. Boom. You see what your brother did? I'm kind of picking on Ukaluka Muka Hudai Uka Muka Puka. I'm kind of picking on him. Or her. That's the thing. Sometimes it's like you'll look and then like there's a lot of times where it's like people will have like a Twitter account and then it'll be like I heart Deem Sand Winchesty 765 Zebo asterisk number 1730 and it's like they'll have like a picture of like who their bae crush for the week is like in their avatar and it's like I don't know, is this a girl, is this a guy, is this just whatever. So Ukaluka Muka Puka, whatever and whoever you are, they asked the question. They said, like, since you euthanize all of the animals, has that affected how you view food and how you choose to eat food, like like meat and stuff like that? And I said that was a really good question. And Twitter's not a good place to answer a question like that because Twitter only has 140 characters. Not a lot of room to get a well thought out point across. And it's strange because I've been actually I actually have been kind of thinking about a lot of that stuff about what I'm eating a lot more these days. Just not getting terribly too crazy with the whole thing, but just trying to be more sensible about it. Trying to eat things that, of course, that are less processed, that are like, the less ingredients, the better, the less steps it took to get from whatever it was when it was growing to your mouth. Generally, the better, the less sugar, the better, the less salt, the better, stuff like that. Just like simple, old-fashioned. I'm not trying to get too wackadoodle, but what he was referring to in that tweet though is going to be more to do with like meat. Has that affected you? Putting down those animals, and that's a tough one. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I don't know, as far as like whether or not I eat meat. That like the actual act of putting the animals down hasn't affected me as much as like seeing just different things, different documentaries, different reading different stuff as far as like the production of meat and how meat is made, and when it's done to like large scale commercial factory levels, that it can be kind of detrimental. There's a really great recent Vice documentary. It was on HBO, and it was talking about that. And there's a farmer. His name is Joel Salatin, and he has this place over in South Carolina, I think it is, called Polyface Farms, and he utilizes a lot of these really old school kind of farming techniques for like cows and pigs and chickens, and where he'll integrate various pasture lands into like how I'm gonna kind of screw this up. He like utilizes like a lot of electric fence and like less like oh crap, what's a traditional like a farmer will, a lot of times they'll clear out a patch of land and then they'll put fence around it and they're like, all right, this is where I put my cows, and then that's it. And then they'll put feed in there, they'll put like shade apparatus, but then it's just like their big lot. And what he kind of says is like, no, let's do this a little bit differently. And he actually has like, let's say that this spot inside the frame here is like your farmland. What he would do is he would like say like, okay, today we're gonna section off this top corner up here with electric fence, and then I'm gonna put like 100 head of cattle in here, and they're gonna munch on all the grass and everything, and do all that stuff maybe for a day or two, and I'm gonna then move them. I'm gonna make another electrified patch over here, and I'm gonna put them over here and munch, and then after that I'm gonna let the pigs go through here, and they're gonna eat munch. And this is, mind you, this is not like just regular patch. This is like forested area that's on his farm property. So he's not cutting trees down or anything like that. And he's also letting them go through. And let's say that there's actual like, wheat fields and sorghum fields over here where after they get done harvesting, they'll let the cows and the pigs and the chickens go through and then scratch up the ground and then through their pooping and all that fun stuff. They revitalize the soil. They do the same thing. They revitalize like a lot of the forested areas, and it's like stuff like that. That kind of reminds me of some of the farming techniques that my grandpappy, I call him granddad, my grandpa used to do, where he would. I remember what are you doing? I would ask my mom, what is he doing? Why are the cows over here? we'd go up to the farm. Why are they? And she would say oh, well, he's putting them after you harvest the corn or after you harvest the hay, it's good to let the cows kind of go and just kind of chew on the stalks and stuff like that. And it kind of does. And I'm saying all this stuff because a lot of times when they're out and they're milling about and they're breathing the air and they're, and they're cycling blood through their body and stuff like that. You are talking about ultimately a meat-based product that becomes, much more nutrient dense. Hi, Papa. Much more nutrient dense, and then you're also talking about something that becomes, what I would like to think of as more ethical. But I know that a lot of people are like, there's no such thing as ethical meat. Valid point, and I understand that. And there's certain times where I've actually just in the last 6 months I've dwindled down, my consumption. I certainly haven't cut it out. Don't get me wrong, but I really read labels and I try to look for stuff that has been locally sourced from local ranchers. A lot of times I like to read things like, hey, we get our products from pasture raised stuff, and I know that there's a lot of times where it's there's a grain of salt, because I know the food industry, they can be a bunch of bastards. They can be a big bunch of bastards, and they can just completely flat out lie about a lot of stuff. That's why you gotta you really gotta dig in there and try to do your homework. And that's also why it's try to kind of dwindle that stuff down a little bit. Just like the idea cage-free chickens is way different than organic chickens. It's different, and I don't think it's really confusing. And hopefully, I think the FDA is trying to roll out some new rules about, no, you can't try to mislead or bamboozle the public. You have to, be a little bit these certain words have to have concrete definitions as far as food, which I think is probably good. I know that there's Canadians and Europeans who are just they look at America and they're just you are so weird, with your food things. Hi. What? Mia. Oh my gosh, you have such... Hold on. Mia. Capture. Okay. Where does the time go? But yeah, you're recently watching that Vice documentary, and then you're talking about how just an unbelievable amount of natural resources go towards commercial farming. And when you're talking about how much water and how much land and how much fertilizer gets or how much waste product gets generated by, again, factory farming methods, not the methods that the guy like Joel Salatin kind of talks about. It makes you kind of feel I don't know if I really want to support this as much. And yeah, it definitely gives me pause. But doing the stuff where I'm shooting the cows or the horses, no, it hasn't affected me, because that's one of those things where it's it actually, in a way, I'm not going to try to say oh, there's a spiritual connection or something like that. No, but it has given me a much greater sense of respect, and there's more of I guess just profound respect for that process, and for where meat comes from, and the fact that meat comes from the bodies of living things. and the tissues of living things, and that's where meat comes from. So yeah, and you have to realize, like, I grew up around that stuff. I grew up around farms. I grew up around, you know, I used to help butcher chickens when I was like 7, 8 years old. Go in there and grab one. I was 7. I was 7, and yeah, my mom, one of my uncles, my grandpa would be like, all right, go into the coop and grab one, and then I would like be a little like, which one of you is gonna die? Like, it definitely like got me like, oh my gosh. But it gave me like an understanding of that stuff, and like what it's supposed to look like when things are done right, when things are done properly and correctly. So no, I do eat meat, but I'm not a person that, like, if people, because we have a lot of interns, they're vegetarians, they're vegans that come through here, and I totally respect that. I get it. And I've like I said, I've drawn down my my meat consumption, especially like a lot of the stuff. If it's like super cheap and super processed and everything, like, you know that stuff is like, hey, not that great for you, and it's probably didn't come from the best sources. They're probably, you know, they got like 100 cows in like a pen the size of Milo's or something like that. It's like, some of the stuff is kind of sad. Not kind of sad, it's horrific. What am I saying? Yeah. And then some people, they take a look at like the Joel Salatin method and they're just like, well, that's unfeasible. You can't do that on a mass scale. And world consumption of meat has gone up. It's gone up significantly. Just like in the last 50 years, it's more people are eating meat now than, actually there's no cats because Ace is there and Cassie's up there and Milo's there. It's just like a force of habit. I was just about to go down there. See if we can get a squeak from the sass. A lot of cats are kind of they're kind of sleepy right now. It's just they're still kind of recovering from today's heat. Sass. Could you? What's that? Hey. Sass! Really? Alright. Alright. I see how it is. Oh, it's Miss Luchalu. We'll go over and see Miss Luchalu. Yeah, and then because of course then like a lot of times it brings up like those like the philosophical questions and the ethical questions, you know, like what makes, because then it's like, oh, if you eat meat, like what makes this life more valuable than that form of life, and then it's like, they make a point, like what does. But if you've ever taken an antibiotic or if you've used hand sanitizer, you've already made that decision that at some point there's some life that takes precedence in this universe. And if you've ever used hand sanitizer, then you've basically made the decision, well, my life is more worthwhile than the lives of these germs. And I'm not trying to sit there and say like that's why I eat meat. It's not. But I'm saying it does bring about all of these confusing kind of philosophical topics, these arguments. And a lot of times the more you think about stuff like that, then, you know, yeah, it has given me pause, it has given me consideration. I don't, like, when I go, if I stop at a convenience store, I'm not grabbing the $1.25 piece of beef jerky, you know. I'm gonna get the dumb water and maybe if they have some of the convenience stores now, they have like carrot sticks and stuff like that. But Jesus, you won't be able to. It's not like what. And of course, you know, like you got these guys, and they have to eat it. They can't not eat meat, you know. So their existence depends on other things dying. Their existence depends on the flesh of others. And you have to also think about this. Their existence here in this facility depends on the industry of meat here in the United States, and the production and the growing of meat here in the United States. Like that's a powerful factor for this, everything that you see. All of the cows that come in, like a very small amount of the cows that come into the facility as food donations are dairy cows. The rest of them there's some form of meat. Or they're retired from like rodeo stuff. That happens too. So, well, I say retired. They got beaten up, and then, yeah. Oh no, they're retired. They're moving down to Florida. No. Some of the roping steers, they get it pretty rough. That kind of makes me sad whenever they come in. I don't mind the bull riding so much. Because bulls, they can just they can totally kill someone. Those guys are psychopaths. I've seen that, so that's nuts. But the ones where they're wrestling like baby cows, I don't like that. I don't like that stuff at all. I'm like, come on, you're bigger than them, and you've got a horse, and then oh, there you go, you got a rope on it really quick. That's great. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then the guys are just like, I'm gonna go ride that gigantic pissed off in. I'm like, wow, all right. And then they're not doing it like in this bull. It's different than bullfighting. Bullfighting sucks. Like the one where because like they give it drugs. They give, like when they do the bullfighting stuff, they give them drugs, and then they try to like cut the ligaments so that it's like, so that the bulls are constantly like in that lunge mode. It's just that's a brutal one. That's a real brutal one. Excuse you. He was sitting there saying things about bull riding. Oh my gosh, no animal should ever be used for. Oh my god, it's like things are. Yeah, look, I do agree with a lot of that sentiment, to a certain degree. Yeah, certainly. Then, anyone who's ever made their dog, anyone who's ever made their dog shake paws is committing an atrocity. I know that's probably, I'm saying statements that are probably not. They're like, some of these are kind of, you have to also realize I pump a lot of this stuff up, for the webcast. Sometimes I'll just sit there and just like, I try to run different thought experiments, and I try to, touch upon different things and different bases and whatnot, and sometimes that means saying a lot of what ifs and saying a lot of, think about this. But I wasn't expecting to talk all about this type of stuff, but it's okay. It makes for a good webcast. Fodder, meat, and I could probably talk about more things, but just like for just the health benefits and a lot of the ethical things and the environmental concerns. I've become a lot more considerate of my meat, and I really don't eat as much, and when I do, I really try to make sure that it comes from a more ethical farmed source, and that, more humane slaughter methods, which thanks to Temple Grandin, which she's an autism advocate and a humane slaughter advocate, which different. She's quite the lady. She's completely revamped and redesigned the meat slaughter practices, at least here in the United States, and a lot of other places have picked it up too. Well, because it's also like, the less stressed these animals are, the better the quality of the meat is and stuff like that. And it's like, they don't, because like the way that they're operated now, like a lot of, there's still like some bad footage. I'll show you some footage that's, of course there's going to be like outliers, but like the vast majority of the operations of these places, they try to do things well on the up and up, and a big part of it is because they know that eyes are on them. They certainly know that people are watching them, and that you can get cameras anywhere now, and that's a part of it. And also, it's like, you know, even people that work in those types of environments, they generally they're just people. If they could do things more humanely, of course they're going to choose to do that. They're not monsters. Like, a lot of times it's people that live in Iowa, you know. Just like some guys just in small towns, like, well, you know, I got to go work at the pig processing plant. That's just, you know, the only option I got. And if we can try to treat them a little bit nicer, I guess that's okay. Yeah, talking about working class people. It gets really complex. Gets complicated. A lot of times, and people say, like, it's really expensive to eat, like, you know, stuff like that. And you're right, it is. It is. I'm not gonna say it's not. No, and I'm also not saying, like, and you should too. I'm just telling you what I do. That's all. I would recommend, like, if it's something that you're interested in, yeah, definitely try to, you know, Google some more stuff about that. Watch some of those Vice documentaries and that talk about, you know, the meat. Look up the name Joel Salatin. I think it's Salatin. Joel Salatin. Joel Salatin, I think it is. Pete. And I guess also big thing is, like, if you got local butchers, like, definitely if you still want to eat meat but you want to try to, you know, support things that are a little bit nicer, then you can also go and support local butchers. Like, because generally speaking, and this is not always the case, but generally speaking, your local butchers are going to source their meat from more quality sources, and more quality sources generally come from like good farms, local areas, like good processing procedures and stuff like that. That's like and that's not a guarantee, but it's a good place to start. That's all. I wasn't trying to. I'm sorry if any of that sounded kind of soapboxy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to be. And like I said, I'll still just eat the crap out of a steak. Yeah, totally. I do. You know, but I get the organic eggs. You know, make sure to get those, whatnot. Get a lot of the organic milks and whatnot. You know, even though I probably should lower my dairy consumption, because that's just probably not as good. But I'm a Wisconsin boy. I can't help myself. Oh, Luke, I just can't. They just can't. And it's like, and look, you ask me the same question like 2 years from now, it might be wildly different, you know? It's like, I only eat these types of leaves now. I don't eat things that are not this exact shade of green. It's, you know, you never know. I don't think that that's going to be the way it is. I guess also another big thing, and this is the real thing that's going to be a big game changer, and I do believe that this is going to be something that's going to be taking place within the next, I would say at least 15 to 20 years. At least. Possibly even sooner. But the mass commercialized production of manufactured meat. That means tissues, flesh, minus animal. They've already developed tissues they've already made lab-grown hamburger patties, like literally a hamburger patty that costs like $300,000 to make. But this is like any sort of beta technology is going to be massively expensive, and the more you research it and the more you develop it, the less expensive it becomes. The cheaper it is to replicate. And we're not talking about, you know, like, hey, just mix some, we're not talking about like synthetic meat. No, we're talking about actually like recreating the biologic processes of creating muscle fibrous tissue in a lab setting, in a factory setting. That's wild. That's wild stuff. Look at your face. He's like, I want my meat to come from a cow, not no factory where there's gonna be like screws and bolts in it. I don't want that. No, Chompers says no. Wait, that's not the Chompers voice. I do not want my meat to come from a factory. All those poor cows will be out of work. Where will the cows go? We must organize a protest. The cows, the unemployed cows. We must save them. Now it's German. Oh no, my accents are going all over the place. But yeah, no, they're manufactured meat. That's a thing. That's gonna change a lot of attitudes. That's gonna do a lot of different stuff. That's cool. That's really cool. And then what? So let's say that you can now, and let's just say that like it is. Let's say it's indistinguishable. Let's say it is indistinguishable from meat that is grown from animals. And you can manufacture all different types of cuts. You can manufacture chicken breasts. You can manufacture ribeye steaks. You can manufacture, and they are just the best. And they're nutrient dense and they're wonderful. They're good for you. I mean, like, how is that going to be? That's going to change. That's going to change things. Now, but imagine that. And again, we're not talking about things that they're still years off. But they're within the realm of theoretical plausibility. That's cool. That's cool. If that whole thing kind of happens. But, you know, food for thought. Anyway, speaking of food, Heidi's probably wondering where the heck I am right now because she just, you know, she said, I'm going to make dinner. You webcast, do that. And I put my phone in airplane mode, so she's probably been calling me. I'm going to get up to the house and she's going to be just like, what in the F, dude? Had this S done so many mins ago. I'm just hyphenating my words. All right. So anyway, so dumb. Hi, Tess. All right. I got to go. All right. Talk to you folks later. Bye-bye.